All right, let's talk Pittsburgh Steelers. Offensive coordinator is obviously the biggest topic of conversation right now. There's a rumor flying out there, rumor, I guess, that the Steelers could be interested in Byron Leftwich, and they're waiting for him to leave or be fired by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before they release Matt Canada to the open market. Me and you talked about that before, about how they're probably waiting for the right guy. If there is a right guy before they make a move with Canada, it seems like the logical thing to do. Seems like the Steelers thing to do. But then it comes out that the Steelers are actually putting that decision on hold because Mike Tomlin is away from the team dealing with the personal matter. More has come out. There's a Kenny Pickett quote floating out there from Cam Hayward's podcast the other day. There's just a lot. You see it all unfolding. Are you getting a feel of what way the Steelers' decision is going? Are you just as confused as most people? What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think I'm still in a similar place that we were on Monday. Like I said, this is all just stuff we don't know. Like we're talking about stuff that we don't know and won't know for a little bit. I think that Kenny, that quote from Kenny you kind of referenced was pretty telling.
Yeah.
He talked about, anticipating year 2 with Matt Canada and how excited he was, and on a certain level, that just sounds like what your quarterback is supposed to say, and just kind of the company line on it. But there's part of me that really believes it. I do wonder how much this kind of personal matter that Mike Tomlin's going through actually has put a hold on things. Because, like we said, there are a lot of things that still have to. There are a lot of dominoes that still have to fall. I mean,
Yep.
last season, this season still isn't over yet. And there are a lot of like really promising candidates that have not yet hit the market that you kind of expect to. So there's still a lot left to be determined. And I think if I read that Mark Caboli report correct, it was that personnel decisions are being kind of put on hold. Not just the offensive coordinator. It wasn't specific to the offensive coordinator, even if that's the only kind of position they're considering. I wonder if there is something else, if there's some other moves that we aren't really anticipating that'll come out of this as well.
I don't know. Maybe it's the Flores stuff, because he does still have to be approved to go get interviewed elsewhere. But that is a good point, because it does specifically say that he's going to continue to meet with players and just do it virtually. But that's a good question, because at the same time, you brought up Kenny Pickett's quote, and here's Kenny Pickett's quote from his appearance on Cam Hayward's podcast, Not Just Football. We just need to take that jump into year 2. Canada's doing a great job trying to figure out what we need to do to get those and put up some more points. Wow, that's a weird quote. So I'm excited to continue to work with him this offseason. And he did. Like, he genuinely seemed very excited about the future of Matt Canada, spoke highly about him and how we recruited him to Pitt, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that he actually met with Mike Tomlin? Because that's what people are going to assume is, oh, he already met with Mike Tomlin. He knows that he's coming back. The answer's already there. Do you buy into that, or do you think maybe the quarterback's the last position you meet with because you need to have all your ducks in a row before you sit down with Kenny Pickett and talk about the future?
No, because I don't think Kenny's I don't think your quarterback's a person you have to keep this decision a secret from. I think he's an active part of the decision making. If he's not, making the decision, you value Kenny's input.
Yeah.
In this process, I think Kenny's able to tell where the winds are blowing if he doesn't know the exact decision. He's in the building every day, maybe not every day now, but he was in the building every day. He was around his offensive coaches all the time. He was the one being coached most heavily by Matt Canada. He has to have some kind of sense about where things are leaning, which, leads me to believe that this is more than just kind of smoke and mirrors and just kind of boilerplate stuff from Kenny. I think he gets the sense that Matt Canada is coming back. And
do you think it's just a sense, or do you think he knows? Do you think he's been told?
I don't think he's been told. It doesn't seem Steelers-ish to give Kenny that information and then just kind of give him a wink and a nod and say, "Oh, well, don't tell anyone."
Yeah.
Like
Keep it
but
a secret. We're not gonna let anybody else know, but
right. But like I said, I think like there's no way he doesn't know where the front office is leaning or where Mike Tomlin is leading.
Do you think that there's a possibility he sat in a meeting and they said, look, chances are we're going to keep Matt Canada, but we're not positive we're going to keep Matt Canada. And then he's just kind of, like obviously like he's not going to come out and say anything negative about him. Even if he got fired, he's not going to say anything negative about him. Do you think that it's just like a typical Kenny response of, oh yeah, here we are, very excited for week 2? Because Kenny is very robotic in his responses most of the time, which is okay. That's what you want out of your quarterback. But do you think that there's a chance they sat him down and said, hey, look, we're waiting to see who our options are, and then we're going to move on, or we might move on, but we might stay? Or do you think it was more detailed than that, as in
no, and I don't
keeping him?
Well, I think the other thing, I think in the opposite direction. Like, I don't think it was that detailed. If he did sit in on a meeting, like they're not going to. So, like, what happens if they bring Kenny into this meeting and they talk about how they don't like Matt Canada isn't their ideal choice, but you still got to go into next season with him. I think we talked about this at one point during the season when there were rumors going around about Matt Canada getting fired. It's not good business to kind of undermine one of your most important coaches.
True.
Especially to your rookie quarterback. Like, how is Kenny supposed to take Matt Canada seriously if he thinks that he's only hanging on to this job because they don't have anyone else? That just seems like bad business to me.
It does. That's true. That is very, very true. So, I mean, but that, to my point, I'm not like 100% certain if they met yet, because what would they say if that wasn't? Like they're not going to lie to him, just like you said, and say, oh, well, Canada's likely our guy, but we're not certain. But at the same time, just like you said, they're also not going to be like, oh, well, he's not really our guy, but he's our backup plan. So if we keep him, he is. I think there's an actual possibility Kenny hasn't met with Mike Tomlin yet because they don't know what to say to him. Like they don't know where the offensive coordinator decision is going to go, and they want to see where those dominoes fall. And they have time. These people think that these exit meetings are just quick and easy and everybody gets them done in a day or two. No, there's 90 people that meet with Mike Tomlin one-on-one for way more than a couple minutes. Like it's sometimes it's a half hour, sometimes it's longer. You're getting detailed into things. And the more important of a person you are in that organization, the longer your meeting's going to be. So Kenny Pickett's is going to be long. Matt Canada's is going to be long. I could definitely see them saying, okay, we're going to hold off on Kenny's and just build into year 2 just because of that quote. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that somebody in that organization besides Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan knows that Matt Canada is for sure the offensive coordinator in 2023, and nobody else knows it. It's the NFL. Everything gets leaked. Everything.
So you just kind of think Kenny is he's just kind of operating under the assumption now that until something official comes out, Matt Canada is my offensive coordinator next year.
Yeah, I think that he's going to continue to work like that. And at the same time, I think that he wants him to be his offensive coordinator next year. I don't think there's anybody in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I don't think anybody in the offense right now, at least, is looking at the situation and going, man, I hope Matt Canada gets fired. Maybe at the bye week they were thinking that, but I don't think Kenny Pickett's thinking that. I don't think Najee Harris is thinking that. I think they're genuine when they say that they're willing to defend this guy and they believe that he's got some upside. Does that mean that they're going to be like super upset if he gets fired? No, it's not going to hurt any morale whatsoever. But I think that they're backing their coach and they feel confident in their coach. Does that mean that the organization does, who has that they have the call? No, but I think the players are genuine when they say that. Yeah.